this presentation, we are mainly focusing on food preparation and safety, which is very essential in early childhood education. So the second slide defines the food preparation. Actually, there are a number of factors which one should keep in mind while preparing a food and which is very essential to be healthy. So food preparation, like, one should always wash hands before handling any food. Wash them again after touching your hair, wiping your nose or a child's nose with a tissue, sneezing, going to the toilet, assisting a child with toileting, changing a nappy, and touching other items that may carry bacteria. Use separate cutting chopping boards from raw material and fish cooked items such as meat and vegetables and fruits and sandwiches. Moreover, wash knives after use with cooked meat and fish, and before use any foods they are ready to be eaten. Moreover, food preparation with children. Ensure that children always wash hands before handling any food, and take care to avoid any injuries from sharp knives and like hot surfaces. Well, there are a number of factors which cause food poisoning. One of them is biological risk. It is one of the serious factor which cause food poisoning in among the children. Actually, there is bacteria present in most foods, and food spoiling is often caused by bacteria. Bacteria often make food inedible and unpleasant, but are always harmful. Such bacteria, called pathogens, are harmful and can cause food poisoning and gastro injuries. Symptoms include like nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and stomach cramps. Different bacteria cause different illness. Some are short-term and quite mild, while others are more serious and may include dehydration and require hospitalization for treatment. Food poisoning is especially serious when it occurs in children and elderly people because their immune systems are more valuable and they become dehydrated more easily. So how one can preventing gastroenteritis. The most common cause of gastroenteritis is viral illness passed on through contact between people rather than through food. High risk food that allow the easy growth of bacteria are those that are most moist and contain a lots of nutrients. These foods, called high risk foods, include milk, meat, fish, and eggs, as well as any disease containing these ingredients. Also, there are like some low risk foods which cause biological risk of food poisoning, like foods unlikely to encourage bacterial growth. Or low risk foods include uncooked pasta and rice, biscuits, packaged snack foods, and chocolates. These foods can be kept safely for long periods of time without refrigeration. So these are the biological risk which cause food poisoning. Physical threats. It is also one of the serious risk that cause food poisoning, as children are very sensitive and their body is still growing, their immune system is still developing. So it becomes necessary that early childhood services should follow the food safety guidelines in order to be maintained safety and food preparation. Still, there are a few physical elements which creates physical hazards, like contamination in food can include like foreign bodies like hairs, pieces of metal, and other objects accidentally picked up during the preparation and cooking processes. Moreover, chemicals from the food production process, and some cleaning materials, chemicals while cooking food, and a contamination from pest and some bacteria. These are the some physical hazards which cause food poisoning. Kitchen surrounding, well, it is very necessary for food preparation and for food safety. Like, each and every corner of the kitchen should be clean, including the gadgets like freezer, microwave, refrigerator. Ensure that the refrigerator and the other gadgets are working properly and the food placed in them is that is cold. Wash the dishes properly with hot water and do not use paper towel to dry them. Check daily the refrigerator and the temperature of the refrigerator. Wash dishes between use and hot soapy water and leave them to dry rather than using a tea towel. Generally, a dishwasher is required for safe washing of the children's dishes. So it is very necessary to maintain the cleaning of the kitchen in order to maintain food safety and food preparation, which is very essential part for food safety. So in this slide, there are some factors to reduce food contamination. List of components need to be considered, like while food purchasing. Shops from approved stores, which means like one should buy food from the trusted suppliers where they can trust on their suppliers that their food should be uh, fresh and best. Secondly, availability of quick and safe transport. Buy fresh food from the places where turnover is high and the transport high risk food quickly or in cool containers. Packed properly and sealed must have the expiry date of the products. So it is one of the very important factor that products have their expiry on there, so that one can recognize when the product is expired and they can avoid the diseases. So it is very very necessary food purchasing while buying any food. Moreover, the food that allow the easy growth of bacteria are those that are like moist and contain a lot of nutrients. These foods called high risk foods. These foods include like meat, fish, eggs as well. Cooked rice also allows some bacteria to grow. If these foods are left out of the refrigerator for long periods of time, they will spoil and not be edible. However, they will only cause illness if they contain harmful pathogenic bacteria. And low risk foods. Low risk foods are those that food which is unlikely to encourage bacterial growth. Or low risk foods include uncooked pasta and rice, biscuits, packaged snack foods, chocolates. These foods can be kept safely for long periods of time without refrigeration. So these are the food. Many packaged snack foods are sometimes foods and are not suitable for setting. This slide explains that the serving food is one of the essential components that need to be considered in order to maintain food safety. Food services contains washing hands is key factor for everyone before eating. In maintain proper hygiene, spoons and utensils should be neat and clean. Also, children should have access of their favorite plates, they must have they must have the plates like of their size, so they likes that more. Small size plates and tongs, which encourage them to be self-dependent. And food served from the services should be covered. Well, it is very important in both adults and children to understand some basic rules. To understand these basic rules, and so washing hands is very essential in it. And all foods are to be table or individual plates should be discarded if uneaten rather than served later. Any food not served from the kitchen can be covered and refrigerated and then reheated and served later. Food Safety Programs Act. These are the these are the these are the problems like which food safety programs helps to monitor these problems. The first one is figure out the all potential risks which come across food business. So the food safety programs identify the potential hazards that may occur in all food handling operations carried out in the business. The food safety program identify where these hazards can be controlled and how to control these hazards if these controls are out of control. And the food safety program suggests some extra advanced ideas which helps to control these biological risk and food poisoning. And the food safety programs provide corrective actions when a hazard is found to be not under control. And also it establish, document and verify detailed pre-request programs, and be regularly reviewed for adequacy. And also contain all the guidelines and principles which describes the basic food and safety and procedures. So this is the last slide which explains like how to teach the food safety to children in early childhood education. So teaching children about food safety includes a progression of ideas from basic ideas into more advanced concepts. Children learn about food safety through everyday practices. Children can learn about food safety through their daily practices. It requires number of ideas to learn from advanced concepts. In early childhood, children can learn about food safety from the educators as they spend major amount of time with them. Food safety habits are supported by consistent routines that are often in age and developmentally appropriate ways with ample hands-on exploration. Well, there is an image as well which explains the food safety basics for kids in the kitchen. The one is clean all countertops and kitchen surfaces before cooking, as it is explained before. Like the kitchen environment that should be clean, neat and clean. Pull back long here, there should not be any foreign bodies while cooking food. Wash hands with warm soapy water before and after handling food. Never taste food until it is done cooking. Always cook with adult supervision, and always use clean utensils. So that's all. Thank you so much for giving the give that opportunity for explaining the food preparation and food safety, which is very essential in everyone's life. Thank you so much.